on, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of an emergency pod, Snap Decisions. I am coming to you from inside my car, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And unfortunately, I'm on my way to work. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I guess either way. But I kind of figured I probably wouldn't have as much time to do this as I thought I was going to through the course of the week. So you make time when you make time, right? And I've got a half an hour to kill to get to work, so I thought, why not? But anyway, this is a very special episode of Snap Decisions because it's got nothing to do with Snap. And you know what? Maybe that might be good for some people at this point. I know there's a lot of things going on out there that people aren't happy with in the game right now. The latest of which is the monetized version of the card that's behind the paywall, and I know a lot of people are not thrilled with that, and some other things that I've seen in the Discord, and like I said, rightfully so. Look, I'm never going to argue with that. I don't want to see this game die, and I don't want to see people leaving, and for all the reasons I stated before. But anyway, this episode is not about Snap. This is about DC and Superman, and so I had a chance to go to the premiere, which was cool. I've never been to a prior and like an advanced screening of a film or anything like that. So it was kind of cool to do. And I wasn't anything special or anything. It's just because I was an Amazon Prime member that I got the ticket. But I did happen to see that they were doing it, and then I was kind of curious about how to go. And I kind of thought, it's just going to be for big cities and stuff like, because that's usually where they do that kind of thing. And I certainly don't live anywhere near. Closest I live to a big city is Philadelphia, and that's like 2.5 hours away from me. So, but yeah, so I saw it was for Prime members. So I'm like, okay, and I looked it up, and I looked up the theaters, and then I'm thinking, again, this is going to be in like the bigger theaters and stuff that aren't anywhere near me. But it turns out that it was weird because the ticket was offered through Fandango. But yet, the screening was for the Cinemark that is near me, which is, well, not near me, but it's about like a 40-minute drive, which isn't bad. I mean, that's the one I go to almost all the time anyway, because it's just a nice big theater, very comfortable seating and stuff like that, so it's just worth going. So I saw it was for that, and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be cool. So I grabbed the ticket, and I was able to go. And I'll tell you, it really... When I got to the theater, it really had the feel of a big-time movie, right? Like, I can't say that I've been to a movie that I had, like, a buzz around it, like, that was a big feeling of excitement. Now, I have my own types of films I go to. Of course, like, my daughter and my wife, they were super, super excited to see Wicked. Now, that's not my kind of thing, per se, so I was never a big musical guy. I used to go to live ones when my mom used to work in a dinner theater back in the day. But and while I of course watched The Wizard of Oz when I was a kid, it was never one of my favorite movies. But they were super excited to go see that. So maybe there were some movies out there that people were excited for. But for me, as soon as I got to the theater, right, like I saw when I took my ticket to the usher, to the guy who was showing people where to go and what theater it was in, right away, I had my new Superman logo t-shirt on, and he's like, oh man, you're the first one to wear the new logo. And I'm like, that's, pretty cool greeting. And then he's like, yeah, and then I said, oh, was this the first showing and stuff? And he said, because I was under the impression that there was only one showing. Well, that's not true. They had several, I guess, throughout the course of the day, or at least one prior to me, because when I got there, I saw there were people coming out of the theater, and the guys were going in to clean it and stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay, there was other showings before. But I picked the primetime one, so it was at 7 o'clock. And then, when I got up to the snack line, of course, I was just going in, and there's not much I can eat in theaters now because of my surgery. I really love popcorn, but popcorn, I tried some in my house and stuff. It kind of bothers me, and that's the last thing I wanted. It was for the food to bother me while I'm in the theater trying to watch a movie. So I just kind of I'm like, I'll just get a drink, and I'll just get like a candy of some sort. So I ended up getting peanut butter M&Ms. And I'm looking through, and I saw, of course, they had the popcorn buckets, the crypto one, which was very cute. Crypto with the two buckets and stuff with him. So yeah, he had two separate little popcorn buckets in his paws. Very cute, but expensive, of course. Like these buckets are, and I'm saving all my money for the Galactus one anyway. But very cute. And then I saw a couple of the cups, like the drink cups, the souvenir cups that you could take home. The one was really cool. It had Superman and Crypto on it. They were kind of flying together on the cup and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I got up to the counter. Now, I've been a member of Cinemark for a while. And again, the ticket wasn't through Cinemark. It was through Fandango. But I ended up getting the ticket free anyway. You know, you have to pay for it. But I got it free because I had a whole bunch of gift cards that my mom got me years back that I completely forgot about that I had in Fandango, which I never used because Cinemark doesn't use Fandango. So I got the ticket for free because of the gift card, so that was cool. So when I got up to the counter, I put the stuff up, and I do have the membership though with Cinemark, and I get like free passes to movies, and I get like discount coupons like $3 off here and there. So I got up to the counter, and the girl is very, very sweet, and she's like, because I put my M&Ms down, and I said, oh, can I get a large Diet Coke in that Crypto and Superman cup? And she's like, oh yeah. She goes, I kind of pegged you as a dog person, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a dog person. So, but she was very sweet, and she said, oh, did you want to use any coupons or anything? And I said, oh, well, let me look at my app and see. And I had like a $3 off one. So she said, oh, wait a minute. She said, you have vouchers. And I'm like, vouchers? And she said, yeah, you have a lot of them too. She said, in fact, your vouchers would pay for all this that you want. She goes, your vouchers would pay for your candy and the cup. The cup was $7. And then the drink, of course, is on top of that. So it would have probably been like $12. And she said, no, your vouchers will pay for everything today. And I'm like, oh, damn, okay. And so I'm like, oh, that's cool, So she was nice enough to do that. And, of course, I thanked her and stuff like that. So I got the whole entire thing for free. So I got the free cup, which was cool, and the drink and stuff like that. So then I headed over, and there was a little bit of a wait till they cleaned out the theater and everything. And then I got in, and, of course, as I'm sitting there, I was one of the first people in there, and then it started filling up. And then I saw people, walking in the theater, and everybody's wearing some sort of Superman shirt. Some of them were similar to mine with the new logo for this Superman. Some of them had like old school classic shirts on. I also have a Christopher Reeve Superman 78 shirt too. But then I saw a girl come in dressed as Supergirl. She looked amazing. She had the cape, the little skirt, everything like that. So I'm like, all right, this is cool. And again, I really haven't seen anything like this since Endgame. The last movie I was truly excited for was Endgame, and that lived up to expectation because it was just really good. And then, of course, the way the audience reacted to the Tony Stark, or to the Captain America on your left thing, Cap on your left, and oh my God, I've never seen such an audience reaction as I did to that. And so I'm like, all right, this is going to be cool. So many people are in there, and all, what was awesome about it was like everybody was so nice and polite to each other. Like people were just like smiling. When you go, we live in a time where there's just not a lot of people smiling right now, and for good reason. Especially if you live in the United States. There's a lot of crap, just crap going on right now, and every day it's bad news. But people were smiling, and people were looking at my shirt, and they're like, "Oh, that's cool." Is that the new one? And I'm like, yeah. And and then you get to talking with just strangers, which is so cool because that doesn't happen. And there just seemed to be like a vibe, like a happy vibe going on in this. And then of course the movie starts. No previews or anything like that. It went into a screen, and James Gunn and David Corenswet and the actress, and I keep forgetting her name, the actress who played Lois Lane, appear on the screen. And then James Gunn is like, hey, welcome Prime members. I just wanted to thank you all for coming out tonight to see our movie. And so it was neat. I know it was recorded and everything like that. I get it. It wasn't live, but, it was still cool. And they all said, I hope you enjoy the film, as this is the first time that people are actually seeing it, other than the red carpet, which I did watch the red carpet to get myself fired up beforehand. So I was able to see all the interviews. And one of the coolest things on that was they interviewed Christopher Reeve's son. And I was like, oh my God, that was just amazing. And Chris Reeve's son, I'll tell you what, he is the spitting image of his dad. Looks so much like his father, and just it was just awesome seeing him. And he plays a bit part in the film. It's unfortunately a blink and you'll miss it, but he played a role in the movie, and it was just so cool. Just the nostalgia of it all, and everything like that was just amazing. And so that was awesome too. So the red carpet was neat, and you saw the interviews with Corn Sweat and with all the rest of the cast. Nicholas Hoult, who by the way stole the show in this movie. His Lex Luthor probably rivals Michael Rosenbaum from the Smallville show. As I think probably the best and probably most like cruelest Lex Luthor that we may have ever seen. And so I'll get to that though in a bit. But yeah, the film starts off, of course, and I'm not gonna. I told you this is non-spoiler. I'm not going to give away anything or any spoilers with this film. But it starts off, and it just starts off with like a big battle, goes into the action right away, and just starts off with this mega battle that they end up having, which is a very cool way to start the film, very cool way to start the movie, as it led into this big time battle with Superman and an opponent that he had fought. That was named the Hammer of Baravia, and you could see right away that a lot of stuff that they showed in the trailer was very, very, very early on. So very, very early in the film, which is also cool because again, they're not giving away a ton of stuff. And so that was neat too to see that and to notice that it was very early on in the movie that the scenes that you got in the trailer had happened. But again, I'm not going to go into a lot of details. I'm just going to give an overview of what I thought. So first off, my trust and my faith in James Gunn was spot on. I like the dude. Now I get it. Guardians, the first Guardians totally took me by surprise. I was not expecting to be as entertained with that as I was, because I really never read the comics. For as big of a comic book reader as I am, I really never read Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't know much about it, and stuff like that. So I really didn't know what to expect, but I loved it. Like so many others did, and I also loved. I enjoyed Guardians 2. Wasn't quite as good as the first one, and the ending was kind of weird, but I enjoyed it. And then Guardians 3 was, geez, my poor daughter went to it with me, and she was bawling her eyes out. It was a very sad movie in parts, but again, all of James Gunn's work. And I know he actually was a consultant, or he helped out a little bit in the Avengers films and stuff too, at least on some of them. Might have been Endgame and Infinity War, I'm not sure. It might have been Infinity War now that I'm thinking about it, because his characters were in that too. But I just love what this guy does. I know just from hearing interviews from him, and I'm sorry if you hear my air conditioner, but it's just getting too hot without it. I know that he is a comic book fan. He's a couple of years older than me. He's 57. So I know that, him and I were the same age. We grew up reading comics, and I could see it. I could see the love of the comic book genre with him. And boy, oh boy, did it shine in this. I mean, this movie, I will just say this. As a total overview of this film. This movie is a comic book come to life. A comic book come to life. There is no question that this is a comic book movie. There is no question that all throughout it, you are going to have impressions of of watching a comic book unfold before your very eyes. And those of you who have read comics in the past, you're going to notice it too, because you're going to see that any one of these moments in this film can leap off of a comic book page. And that is truly what I loved about it. Look, I get it. A lot of people love, and I think because, you know, the Snyderverse, the Nolan Batman verse, they like it because it's realistic and it's much more down to earth and grounded. Well, I personally think that the superhero genre, in the theaters at least anyway, needs to be a comic book type thing again. It needs to have, it needs to not be so grounded, right? Christopher Reeve's Superman was not grounded. The tagline for that movie is "You'll believe a man can fly." It was not grounded. It had a little bit of grounding to it, but the characters were over the top. The stuff he did was over the top. I mean, he spun the world backwards. But this is what I think the comic book industry needs, is to get back to its roots and to get back to comic book films. Don't concern yourself so much with making everything realistic, because that's not what comics are. Comics aren't realism. They're not grounded. And so one of the things he succeeded with in a big way with this movie was the fact that it was unabashedly a comic book film. And you could see that from the get-go. The other cool thing is no origin story. We don't need to see the destruction of Krypton. We don't need to see Ma and Pa Kent get him when he's young and when he crashes to Earth and all that. We don't need to see that. We all know it. We all love it. No origin story. This is set up, and it happens when Superman has already been established on this world for a while, and so have metahumans. There's a little word description at the beginning that tells you this. So this world has metahumans. This world has Superman for the last I think they said 3 years. So he's been Superman now for the past 3 years. So it bypasses all the Clark Kent stuff and all of that. And so, yeah, so I love that. We don't need any of that. And I think in Fantastic Four, it's going to be similar. We're not getting an origin story. We don't need to see the rocket launch and the rocket being hit by cosmic rays. We don't need to see it. We've seen it a gazillion times. Same thing with Spider-Man. How many times do we need to see Uncle Ben die? In Snap, you could see it all the time. But anyway, so they were some of the things I like. Now, there is a big change. A big change in Superman's parents, not the Earth ones. So a big change. And now I haven't read a lot of DC lately, so I haven't read a lot of more recent Superman stuff, comic books and everything. But and maybe this has occurred. That I don't know, and maybe that's where they got it from. But completely took me by surprise. Completely, really shocked me when it happened. So, you have the established relationship already between Clark and Lois. They're already seeing each other. They're dating. She knows he's Superman and blah, blah, blah. So that's all established too. Trying to think of some of the other characters. Obviously, you have Jimmy Olsen, who I love him. He was the kid that played in the Vacation remake. If any of you have seen that, he was the son in the Vacation remake, which, like it or not, remakes. It was kind of funny though. But he was that. He played that role, and he was very good as Jimmy Olsen. Cat Grant is in it, and she's Cat Grant. The beauty report, the one the one that wears the low cut outfits and stuff like that, the long blonde hair in the comics. Steve Lombard is in it in the Daily Bugle. Lombard is the big athletic jerk who does the sports stuff for the Bugle, and he acts like a bully and stuff like that with the cheesy mustache. Perry White, of course, is in it. And Perry is excellent too. The actor plays him. You don't see too much of him, but he was good in the scenes that he played in. You also have now Lex Luthor's little gang of people He's got Miss Tessmacher. She is, of course, was in the Christopher Reeve Superman, and you have her in there. And she's basically Lex's kind of, she's his girlfriend, but he treats her like garbage. Pretty similar to how Lex kind of treated the other one, but she's a little, it seems like the character anyway is a little less intelligent. She's always taking selfies of herself, like in front of action, like when battles are happening outside the window, she's taking selfies, so it's, Miss Tessmacher is pretty much who you would think she is. Now Lex has two, I'm going to call them henchmen. I'm not going to give them away. I'm not going to talk about them. One is female, one is male. You will get into their stories. The female is called the Engineer, and his other henchman is Ultraman. Now, if you've read DC Comics, you know who Ultraman is. He is Superman basically from an alternate dimension. He's as powerful as Superman, but he is absolutely evil. But I will say that is not a spoiler. So that is, that is not a spoiler. So yeah. And then of course, like I said, you have the Hammer of Baravia. So you have this whole conflict going on where Baravia is fighting with this other country, and there's this thing going on, and then this Hammer of Baravia, I guess Superman kind of tried to help out in that situation. So the Hammer of Baravia comes to the United States, and they kind of, he kind of beats the living crap out of Superman. And it's only like it's not, he hasn't had many big battles, and they do say in those like the little wording stuff that you get like filled in on things that are going on at first, that this is the first time Superman has lost a battle. So you kind of can get to see like what's going on with this Hammer guy. And then later on, now this is not giving anything away, spoilers or anything like that, but then later on you get Superman versus a kaiju. Which you see in the trailer. So that part was awesome. There are also supporting characters. You have the Justice. What do they call themselves? They're not the Justice League. I forgot already. But you have Guy Gardner, played by Nathan Fillion. I love Nathan Fillion, man. All the way from Firefly, loved him. I think he's a great actor. And beside the bowl cut, which does look immensely silly, he plays a great role with Guy Gardner, everything you'd expect Guy to be. There's one small scene where he goes around doing stuff with his ring, and every time he does something with the ring and attacks the people that he's attacking, he also does a big Green Lantern fist with a middle finger, which is freaking hilarious. You have Hawkgirl, played by Isabella Rossellini, I forget her name. She's the girl who is in Last of Us. She's probably the least focused on, but I like her as Hawkgirl. I think she does a good job. She's very brutal Hawkgirl, always with the scream and the mace and stuff like that. And then you also get Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific is probably the most focused on one in the film, aside from of that team, aside from Superman. So he plays a pretty big part in it. So he's the actor plays him very well, and a lot of people may not necessarily know Mr. Terrific, but he's been in comics for a good amount of time, in and out of some Justice Leagues through the years and things like that. So, so very cool. There's a cameo appearance by another one of the superheroes. I'll let you find that out for yourself who that is. Was quite funny. And there's also another character who you see in the trailer, Metamorpho. Metamorpho does play a pretty big role as well in the movie, and yeah, he's awesome as well. And I think he's played by the actor who played Mr. Zsasz in the Batman TV series, the Batman TV show, the Gotham. I'm pretty sure he's the actor who played Mr. Zsasz in that, and I like Mr. Zsasz in Gotham. I thought he was good. So he has a pretty big role in it too. So just getting back to the overall thing, the movie was a tremendous amount of fun. There were times that I was smiling ear to ear. There was a scene with Clark, and now Ma and Pa Kent are in it. They are definitely very, very different, Ma and Pa Kent. They are a little younger than the ones we've been used to seeing, but they are definitely farmers, modern day farmers, and they are definitely. I will refer to them as country bumpkin-esque, very much, in that aspect of they are definitely farmers and definitely country bumpkins. But there was a scene with him and his dad that literally brought me to tears, and for several reasons. One, because it was just very sweet, and two, because my dad was the one who took me to see the first Superman film when I was 8, and so those memories kind of just came flooding back. Of course, my dad is no longer with us, and it just made me well up. And I don't cry easily. There's very few movies that have gotten me to tears, but I welled up during that scene. So you'll see what I mean with it when you see it. Krypto stole the show. Krypto was so cute and so amazing, and he is not a good puppy. He is very energetic, but he's a puppy, right? That's what he is. And if a puppy had superpowers, this is what they would do. And from the first time we see him, he doesn't listen. He's not very, Superman tries to get him to listen, but, and you could tell throughout the film that he does not necessarily listen to Superman, but there is a reason for it. And the reason for it is in the final scene of the movie. Very exciting. And I'm not spoiling it because it was awesome. It was awesome. By the way, post-credits, there is one at the very end, is the one I'm referring to, and then there's a post-credit scene. Now the post-credit scene, there are a lot of credits, so the post-credit scene is just a little funny little tidbit at the end. So no big thing lead up to the next film for DC, no any of that kind of stuff. So if you don't want to stay till the end, you don't really have to. It's just this little kind of scene you have a little snicker at. A little fun little scene at the end. But that first one's a doozy, and that comes right after, like bang, right after the end of the film. That one's a good one. That's a really good one. So, but man, I laughed, I cried, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. This is what I needed in a superhero film. I enjoyed Thunderbolts too. I enjoyed Captain America, but they did not elicit the response from me emotionally that this one did. And man, I think that the DCU is in a great place going forward. I am excited for James Gunn's DCU now. The next movie we're getting is Supergirl. Next year, we're going to get also, of course, the end of this year, we're getting Peacemaker 2, which I absolutely thought was great. We're getting Lanterns, the series, next year. And I think we're going to get a big showing from them at Comic-Con because Marvel is not going to be there. So it is DC's show. So I'm expecting a lot more announcements from them. We may even get an idea of who James Gunn's Batman is going to be. He kind of hinted at that. But I am super excited now for DC and for what James Gunn has done. I loved his Creature Commandos animated series. And of course, I love the hell out of Peacemaker. So everything that James has done so far, including this is the best Superman movie. And I've enjoyed them all one way or another. I like Man of Steel. Superman Batman sucked. I did not like that at all. They jammed too much into it. I thought it was horrible. The Justice League was not good at all. Even that 4.5-hour Snyder cut thing was just yuck. But I liked all the I enjoyed Superman 1. Superman 2 with Christopher Reeve was awesome. They were both really good. Superman 3 with Chris Reeve, not so good. Richard Pryor was in that, not so good. But it was campy and it was silly. Superman 4: The Quest for Peace was probably the most hated one I've had of the Chris Reeve ones, but I'll even watch that every now and then to just see it. Superman Returns with Brandon Routh was very much him just taking over for Chris Reeve and playing that same character. That's essentially what that was. Kevin Spacey's Luthor in it was a little weird, but I still enjoyed it. So I like all of the Superman movies, but this one now is the favorite, right below Chris Reeve. I will, that's my Superman. That's what I grew up with. That's what I saw as a kid. But this one is tremendous, and it is right below that for me. I am going to go see it again, for sure. I'll probably go to a matinee at some point in the afternoon, go see it again. I loved it. Loved it. I'm going to buy it when it comes out on DVD, and I haven't said that about a movie in some time. But I absolutely loved it. James Gunn kills it. Guys, look, go see it. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is worth seeing. And I don't think I'm wrong here in any way. I kind of almost wish there was a Superman game now that I could play. Because, there's, at least I have Snap and stuff like that to play with Marvel. But I kind of wish there's a DC game now I could play something with Superman. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me in this little emergency pod. I've arrived at work, so I've got to go to work now. But look, all I'm going to say, guys, is go see it. Go see it. Go see it. I can't recommend it enough. I did.